Good morning, folks. It's somewhere around 6:45 in the morning, and I got to tell you, this is the first time in 10 years of riding through here I've actually seen the creek, because it was always had the ferns and everything up high. So clearly the volume of water has knocked everything down, and now I can see where it is. However, this is not why I'm recording. Let me swing around. That's toward the east, and that's so nice up there. That's where the creek's coming from. Now here's where I break one of my cardinal rules. I have mentioned that I love to see animals and I do not touch them. I think I need to touch this one. I'll see if I can get a clear shot. There we go, folks. That, if I can get away from the glare, is a good size fish, and it is in a puddle that will dry out in the next day or so. So I am going to do my best to catch this little thing and drop it over the edge into the free-flowing water. But beautiful fish. Anyway, I have a little job to do. Catch her. I guess I better report in on the fish. It has been transferred to the nearby creek. Problem was, the puddle became murky so quickly I couldn't see the thing. So I had to use my thong to create waves, and then I ended up getting it into the shallow end, and then I used my thong to create more waves and washed it up onto the sand. Beautiful fish. The underneath the belly had all these beautiful speckled colours, very reminiscent of a trout, but I'm not that up on fish, so I can't tell you definitively what it was, but it was beautiful. And as soon as I picked it up, it wasn't happy, but the strangest thing, it seemed to relax and then flew through the air into the creek. Fun fact, that was about 10 metres from where I found the tortoise the other day. So that is a very healthy environment. So I'm finding fresh brumby tracks here. There has been a few dung heaps that have been freshly made. So obviously after heavy rain they have to reclaim their territory. There are a lot of washaways I've been finding, and if you are riding in the bush after heavy rain, remember some of the washaways can be hollow up to 1/2 metre or more underneath the surface you can see, so avoid them, because if you fall in at speed you are not going to be happy. And for the record, I've done 26 kilometres so far, which means I've now had 6,100 kilometres on this bike. Another quick comment too, just remembered. The other day I found a spare set of old brake pads for my mountain bike, and they were very large, and that was for a non-electric bike. So what I did is I lay them against the new pads that fit this bike, and there was a good 10 to 15% smaller on the pads for this bike. So a heavier bike, motorised, and they're making the pads smaller and smaller, which would explain why they wear out quicker and quicker. Oh, that's a good washaway. So we're only plodding along at about 14-15 k's an hour in eco, and go this side of that washaway. Had a ride the other day, my goodness, the humidity absolutely sucked the life out of me. Let's go this way. So this runs basically parallel to the big road we were on the other day when we caught up with all those brumbies. Crap in the brakes. Oh, I'll get back to you. So we've got getting little spits of rain, so there's a chance I will get wet. The other day I did an urban ride just to run the battery out, and there were 3 main dark clouds, and then they sort of started bumping into each other, and that's when life became very exciting, because there were lightning strikes. A rough guess, the closest would have been about 10, maybe 15 kilometres away. So, and it was pelting rain. It was, I was saturated all the way to the soul, so as to speak. Oh, the other day when I was following the brumbies, I did mention that there are 3 main power displays that stallions will give. One is the snort, The second is their ears up and forward, although I did forget to say forward. And the other is their tail, they arch it, which creates the illusion of a larger size. What I forgot to mention is, over the years I've had one or two who've done an extra bit where they dance. And for those of you old enough to remember the dancing horses, I'm trying to remember where they were from. Vienna? Somewhere over in Europe. So I think they were Arabian stallions. If you remember watching them dance, it was the leg movement, and it was specific, it was accurate, and it was slow. And what that did, and what it did when I was watching these stallions in the forest, it shows absolute power and control in their legs. But as I said, I've only seen it a couple of times. Not all stallions will go that far with their display, but when they do, it is awesome. Just the sheer power and control of their leg muscles. And they're not actually moving forward too much. It's pretty much a lot of it's just in the one spot, which is why I called it a dance. So we're cruising about 24, 25, still in eco. And for those of you who love to hear birdsong, I've discovered the secret on how to hear it, and that is turn your camera off. Turn your recording equipment off, and within 5 seconds most times you'll hear the most beautiful birdsong. Anyway, I've got a bit of this road to go, and then I'll drop off and go bush. That's where I'll catch up with you. We turned off the last road. This is Missing's Road. And I thought I'd mention, seeing I've had a couple of little, not scares, but reawakenings, shall we say. After rain, when the heavy traffic goes on the wet road, they create little ridges, which are okay if you're still in the wet. However, as they dry out, they become treacherous and they can really flip you out of control. So just the smallest lip at the edge of a tyre track can be unforgiving. So you really need to pay attention. So we're still in eco, we're sitting on around 27, 28. So we're in and out of power assist. Not too shabby, heart rate's 102. Although I should note, I have done before, my resting heart rate usually is down in the low 50s. Every so often dropping into the high 40s. So this is a little bit soft here, creating drag, so let's look for something firmer. Crossing all the little ridges. I shall get back to you. So I've just had about a 15-minute chat with the guys working there. Okay, so this is all open. Oh my goodness, it's only just open. It's only just open, wow. Oh, and Joanna just running across this side of the bridge. Now, let's see if we can get this right, folks. There's flood debris up through there. So what's that, about another 10 metres? And normally the water is a good 10 metres below this bridge. If you fell off this bridge, you get hurt. It is that high. So there's still a lot of water. In fact, this is the first time I've ever ridden across here. Okay, that is impressive. Wow. Okay, now there is logging up ahead, so let's see what we find. Oh, I'm in the wrong gear. I'll jump to power settings to compensate. Oh yeah, that power setting. And they had red tape across here, no doubt for the flooded bridge. Back to Eco. Oh, I did mention the fish to the guys, and one of them was into fishing, and he mentioned that he believes it was a protected species. Just plodding along. That cloud's getting thicker. And I can hear some equipment operating somewhere to our left. Oh, hello, I just saw a tree go down straight ahead of us. Pardon. So they're definitely logging in that forest. So we've got to, yeah, I've got to go right here because they've got equipment straight ahead on that road and I'd have to ride straight through the middle. However, let's just pop in here and see if we can see. Oh. Another tree going, another another tree to our right. Very good. Nothing quite like the smell of freshly cut pine. No point trying to get a shot of that. The camera won't get it, and I don't want to get the phone out because then it becomes obvious I'm recording, and sometimes they can get a bit toey. So we'll go the long way. I'll come back to you. What can I say? I have this feeling I'm going to get wet. Check this out. So we're over there, a little bit dark. Oh, look at that lot. Oh my, oh my. Oh, luckily I know I have a hot shower at home. So we've done 51 kilometres, minimum 50 to get home, and I'm still going outbounds, so I'll go right up here and then I'll go up the other side of the flooded creek. I can always use the new bridge to cross over it if all my other little places are still flooded. Anyway, I think that should wrap it. We've got a lot of recording. Catch ya. Just for the record, I am in the pine forest, and this would be a wild dog print. And let me give you an idea, shall we? That is the size of a bloody dog paw print. No wonder they're breeding out here quite happily. Big. This is still flooded. Depth, maybe half a metre, maybe a little bit less. The problem here is I know where all the rough water is. Underneath that is a concrete drain, but it was built out of segments that had already begun moving. So with the amount of water that has gone over it, I have no idea if it's still sound, solid, or anything like that. However, let's just jump back on the bike and we'll hang left here. Let's show you the debris, shall we call it. Now this could get a bit messy. This is usually muddy. Oh, sank in a little bit. Okay. I've got crap in the brakes, but we're not going far. Check out the debris here. And then check out the debris. Oh, I won't bother going through all that up there. So that's about my height and more. So that's a good 2 metres deep of debris washed up. So that gives you an idea of the depth of water that came through here. Anyway, catch ya. I've just wandered in to have a bit of a sticky beat. I can see a hint of bottom there, but just look at the power of the flow. Well, we'll go a little bit closer just to have a look up there. That is pretty, but that's just too powerful, and it's too dark, too much of an unknown. Gets deep again there, but this edge is very shallow. Oh, I'll go home the long way. Well, an extra 5 k's, who cares?